Hello, it's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and I'm Jan Copeland. And I think I told you last week that I'm long overdue for my hair to be done, so you'll forgive me, right? And you ladies who say, I don't want to go live when I don't look good, and now I realize I forgot to put mascara on. But the show must go on. That is not why you're here, right? That is not why you're here. Well, listen, I have a few announcements, and then we're going to get right to this week's edition of our How to Succeed as a Real Estate Agent series. Today, I'm going to be answering your questions. You guys answered about 6 months ago. I had put out, ask me any question on listings, and so I have that. But first of all, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you to go to She's Unstoppable Live. Let me turn that off. She's unstoppableive.com. She's unstoppableive.com. It is the first and only national real estate conference put together for you to be amazing, to get together with the top agents in the country as well as the top women executives. So it's really, really an amazing opportunity. You got to check it out. Now, some of you are saying that well, I have people coming from California, Maine, Chicago, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Washington State, North Dakota, Texas. Okay, so they're coming from all over. It's a national conference, right? But some of you are saying that, hey, I'm not going to do it for one day. I'm not going to come for one day. Yet last year, most of the people said, please, I'd rather have it one day. So you can't please everyone. But what I want to share with you is if you buy the VIP ticket, the VIP experience ticket, that will get you a 3-day event. So the night before is a pre-conference reception with all the speakers, all the top agents that have mega teams are coming. You'll get to be with them. And then on conference day, you get to be a part of the roundtable luncheon with all the executives, all the top agents again. Hey, Brittany. And then the next morning, we have a doing, D-O-I-N-G morning, where we've learned a lot. We're going to prioritize, and you're going to leave with a plan to execute when you get back. So we've thought of everything. So if you want a multi-day event, just get the VIP ticket. Now, the other announcement I was going to make is that I am almost finished with the series on how to style your listings before you list them, right? Because the more work we do up front, the more showings, the more the smoother the process, the easier it will be to get showings, and you'll get multiple offers and get the listing under contract quicker. So if you're interested in that program, it is a free program, but it's going to be by webinar. Then please say, give me the styling webinar, all right? And I actually have one more. As a bonus, I have someone who is going to be an expert. She's an expert videographer, and she, her name is Aaliyah Dastor, and she is going to be bringing to us, I believe it's not this Thursday, but the Thursday after that, I'm going to check, a webinar on how to make 30 videos in 30 minutes, and she's pretty amazing. And so you definitely will want to sign up for that webinar as well. So we have a lot of free webinars coming. And so that's because my heart is pure in that I want to make sure that you are a successful agent and that you feel good, you feel successful, okay? All right, so now I'm going to get right into the questions. So I have like 30 questions, but I don't think I'm going to be able to answer 30 questions at all. I know I won't. But let me just get started. So, and this one says, I'm too busy to prospect, but I want listings. What do I do? I'm sorry. That doesn't even make sense. What are you doing? My question would be, and I actually emailed this person today, what could you possibly be doing that keeps you from connecting? Because to me, prospecting is connecting, right? If you've been watching me the word prospecting might sound like overwhelming, but when you think of prospecting as connecting, where you can connect online and in your market. So you should have a plan of how you are growing your audience online and how you are doing that every day, okay? Unless, of course, you have maybe an out-of-town buyer that wants to go out and you have to show them like a marathon showings. Okay, that day, don't feel bad about it. It's fine. But in actuality, you really, really need to have time to prospect. There's nothing more important other than showing houses and executing contracts and negotiating contracts, right? But then the other side of that is that you want to take the online relationship offline, meaning you want to invite them to see you in person, whether that be coffee, breakfast, meeting at some function that's going to happen in your local market. You want to be the go-to agent, perceived as the go-to agent in your local market. So you can't say, I want to be a listing queen, and then tell me that you're too busy to prospect. And I did ask this person to let me know what she's doing so that I can help her. Then she says, I want to build a team and be able to provide my agents with good buyers to work with. So again, think about there's two huge projects there, right? And so ladies, one of the reasons that I think people in general, especially women, get burnt out in real estate is we try to do too much at once. So I'm all about taking action, and I do believe firmly that action begets action. At the same time, I do believe that you need to identify priorities, because I've said it before. If everything is a priority, then you have no priorities, right? And so if you want to build a team, then the first step in that would be, okay, what does my team look like? Meaning, are my team members going to be lateral, meaning I have buyer's agents and then I'm going to do the listings, or is it that I'm going to train the agents to do everything I do, and so we can all accept listings, we can all accept, work with buyers and things like that. That is a whole other discussion for wanting to build a team. But then the second part of that is you want to be able to provide your agents with good buyers to work with. Well, the beauty of that is that when you have listings, and we're going to answer more specific questions about listings, when you have listings, you will get buyers. As long as you are presenting your listings as creme de la creme, and they get under contract, and your stats are really good, then you have a story. Because remember, ladies, when we are entrepreneurs, we are actually creating something out of nothing, right? So, before we became agents or before we sold our first home, there are deals that are going on in all of our markets, right? And so we just have to really nail down what our secret sauce is, or what we're really going to focus on. And I believe that if you focus on listings, then that will bring in some really good quality buyers, especially in this market. All right. Next question is, my business is not growing as quickly as I'd like. What am I missing? What do I need to do to improve? Okay, that's also really a large question. But if your business isn't growing as quickly as you'd like, then I would look at your actions, right? And really, it starts with your thoughts. As I share, if you ever want to have a free coaching consult with me, go to chatwithjan.com, and sign up. So I do, 6 to 10 a week, sometimes more. And because I love talking to you ladies. But there are some of you who I will never make an offer to help in terms of as a one-on-one coach, because I think that they're looking for a secret. They're looking for an easy way to get there. But in actuality, ladies, what you need to understand is that it really does take time to build a business, and it takes consistency, and your brain has to be thinking the right way. Ever positive, ever optimistic. I was sharing in my group coaching session yesterday how in two scenarios where 99% of other agents would have let the deal die and I did not. That's because I have a firm belief that I can make things happen, right? Being creative. Marie Forleo has a book, Everything is Figure Outable. And so when you say your business isn't taking off as quickly as you thought, then I'd be happy. And I did reach out to this person, and we're actually working together now. And she's doing really, really well because, I don't know what's going on with my hair, because we have a plan. And before working with me, she used to just like say, okay, today I'm going to do this. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go to this. And it was always onesie, try this, not working. Onesie, try this, not working. But in actuality, ladies, you understand who you are and how you're going to present yourself in your market so that you can be noticed, right? And then what happens? You start getting the leads and your business takes off because action begets action. So what she was missing was some organization and a plan, keeping it very clear. You have to be very clear with what you want to do. What is your experience that you want to provide to your clients? Okay. Best listing presentation. What is the best listing presentation? How do I compete in a market flooded with agents? These are two separate questions. And let me see who's with me. Hey, Brittany. Hi, Wendy and Beth and Lucy and Amber and Tina and Brianna and Mitzi and Jane and Annette. Thank you so much for joining me today. So she says, I need the best listing presentation. Well, I can tell you what it's not. Sometimes you need to know what it's not. The best listing presentation is not if you're with a brokerage and it's like 30 pages. I don't know about you, but I'm busy. And if we're busy, our clients are busy, and nobody wants to sit there and look at this 30, 40 page listing presentation. No. Secondarily, and equally important, if you're trying to stand out, which is what the second question was, how do I compete in a market flooded with agents? First of all, you have to figure out how even something as little as your listing presentation is going to allow you to stand out, because chances are that seller is going to interview at least one other agent. And so what if that seller is interviewing somebody from your brokerage and that agent uses the exact same listing presentation you use? It's not going to make you stand out. Now, your personality could do a big job, right? Your personality could do a great job and have you creating an experience from the minute you walk in the door. And so we know that it's not the broker's presentation. We know that it is you understanding that the minute you step in the door, you are going to provide the homeowners with an experience of being with you. And for me, that begins with a little gift. We know in psychology that when you give someone something, they feel compelled to return the favor. Okay, so you're just going along with human nature there. And when after you've toured the home, or if you want to do the listing presentation first and then tour the home, either way can work. It depends on who you are and the experience. Remember that word. The experience that you want to provide to the homeowners. I always suggest bringing your presentation in a folder with your contact details attached to it, and then in soft copy. Because ladies, you want to make sure that as part of your experience, you're going to deal with the prospect, deal with the homeowner / seller the way they want to be dealt with. Not the way you want to work, because maybe that last thing they'll want is a folder, right? And so the listing presentation needs to have 3 things, in my opinion. And I think maybe 3 or 4 pages at the longest, okay? Number 1, it has to have your statistics, which could include your days on market, your average days on market for your listings only. Now, if you've never sold a home before, then use your broker's statistics. And you're looking at your market average, days on market, and then yours or your broker's. Now, if yours is higher than the market, days on market, then I would just put what the average days on market are on the listing presentation. And I don't have time to go into everything, but it's really ideal for you to speak from a point of extreme professionalism and market knowledge. So that you could say, listen, the average days on market in this county, in this price range is X. And the average days on market in this particular neighborhood is X. So that you can delineate between the two. And that really will set you apart, because not many agents are doing that. The second statistic is your average list price to sold price versus the market average list price to sold price. Okay? So you can see it's the same idea. And then your close rate and the average close rate. In most markets in the United States, according to the National Association of Realtors, it's 87%. 87% of the listings that are taken sell. So if you took 3 listings and all 3 sold, your close rate is 100%. So you're better than the market average. But there is a way, obviously, in your particular MLS to figure out what the close rate is. All right. But those 3 statistics are super, super important. Then the next part of your listing presentation is where you're going to shine. This is where you are going to share with them the experience that they're about to embark on with you as their listing agent. And that includes how you're going to market the home, how you're going to prepare the home, right? Because I shared with you in the beginning of this with respect to the styling, how to style a home, similar to a Pottery Barn magazine, or a catalog rather, or a like Veranda Home magazine. Ladies, those pictures are styled, and it's not, many times it's not really functional, but it's styled beautifully such that it appeals to a broader audience. And that is your expertise. That's your sweet sauce, your secret sauce. That's what you want to convey when you're in listing appointments, that I know how to style a home. I know how, my photographer knows how to get the angles so that the pictures are pristine. And in fact, we know that the pictures are the first things today's buyers look at. And so this is you talking, me and my team, we present our homes creme de la creme. And therefore, my sellers do not get lowball offers. And, as I shared with you, we go under contract quicker and for more money than average. You see how that comes from a place of power. And that's why I'm offering the styling webinar, because it's super important that you know that it's super important to style a home before you take pictures. Get rid of the trash cans, ladies. Put the toilet seats down, and quite frankly, if it's a plain bathroom, why are you taking a picture of it, right? Because think about it. You act as a product manager when you're a listing agent. Each of your listings is a product that you are charged with marketing, getting it out there for the qualified buyer in that price range to want it, right? You're creating demand. And so that has to be shouting loud and clear in your listing presentation. And then the third part, which is important in your listing presentation, is to tell stories. So you tell stories about how, maybe how when clients listen to you and, do a few things, maybe paint a wall or take down some outdated curtains, for example, how much more traffic they get. And talk about a particular client that maybe didn't really want to do that, but did. And in the end, they were so excited at the closing table. And versus a client who didn't really want to do anything, and their home sat on the market, and finally, when you convince them, we either have to reduce the price or do a few things, then their house got under contract, and at the closing table, they were so appreciative of me because they finally figured it out that I know exactly how to get homes sold and desirable and get them under contract. So you want to tell stories. Practice your stories. Sit back and think about real life stories of listings, the good and the bad, so that you can share with them, look, we can do this the easy way, we can do this the hard way. And then lastly, would be when you share the comps and when you price the home, you provide them with choices. You provide them with choices while you're planting seeds of doubt with respect to other agents. So let me explain. Say, I don't know, are you going to be interviewing other agents? Okay, they might say yes, they might say no. Well, there are some agents who will ask you what price you'd like the home to be listed at, and they will say, great, let's go in. In fact, let's go in a little higher than that. And I want to just encourage you to check out their days on market, because there are people, that I've heard in my office and others, this was true for me. This is what I would say, and it was true. Who would come back to the break room and they'd say, man, I wonder who's going to buy that. And I know it's overpriced, but eventually it'll sell, because this person just wanted to get a ton of listings. And me, I want to work closely with my sellers so as not to frustrate you. My job is to share with you what we can do to present your home creme de la creme, so that we can get the highest number of qualified buyers interested and in to see your house, so we can get you under contract and moving on to what's next for you. And so you see the power in speaking to that. And so I'm going to give you two prices today. One is, if you say, you know what, Jan, let's put the sign in the yard right now, exactly as it is. And then the other is if you just do a few things. And does that sound fair? And in the end, we'll figure it out if we're a good match. And the whole time you're going back and forth with dialogue like that. And so most times they'll say, well, I want the price if I do a few things, but I don't want to do a few things. And many times, ladies, it could be money, but many times it's actually time. And so I highly recommend that you be the agent that rolls out the red carpet for them. That says, you know what, I have a painter. I'll get him in here to give you an estimate. I'm going to call him right now and see if I can get him in here today. And let's say they have, paint, carpet, usually, that kind of thing. Or if they're elderly, because I had my senior real estate designation, and baby boomers are getting older, ladies. That would be a really nice niche to get into. I'd say, you know what, I have a guy who not only would come in and organize, and help you decipher through what you're going to keep and purge, but the things that you don't want, they will actually sell. I don't know, on eBay, or I don't even know if that exists anymore, but we'll sell for you, and then you'll get paid a consignment. So again, ladies, do you see how this is creating an experience? It's different. And then lastly, when you talk about a listing presentation, maybe this person was just talking about the actual piece of paper, but to me, this is part of the presentation, just to ask for the listing. Ask for the listing. And so how to compete in a market with, flooded with agents? Stand out. Be different. And you can do that in a number of ways that are subjective and like kind of fun. Like if you want to wear bright yellow every time you go somewhere, and use yellow or gold in your brand, your personal brand, not your business logo, but your personal brand, that'll make you stand out. Wear a hat, big earrings, whatever. But then there's other ways when you have, a tagline or, any number of ways to make video so that people can get to know you. It's a big deal, ladies, okay? All right, let's see who else has joined us. Gabby and Kim and Natalie and Marcella, LaShankita and Karen. All right, ladies, thanks for joining me. I think I'm going to have time for one more question because it's almost 12:30. How do I tell my sellers their house is overpriced? How do I tell my seller they need to declutter without sounding judgmental? Okay. This person is actually asking 6 different questions, so I can't answer all 6, but I'm going to answer those 2. How do I tell my sellers their house is overpriced? Who knows my first answer to that? I'm going to give you a second, because if you've been watching my videos, I talked about this twice in the last couple of weeks? What's my answer, ladies? Hey, Catherine, Natalie. How do I tell my seller their house is overpriced? First of all, don't take overpriced listings. Then you won't ever have to worry about that. Okay, don't ever take overpriced listings. Have standards. I'll go up 3,500 higher or 5,000 higher than I know market value is, but I'm not going to go any higher than that. Why would you want to? You're in business, right? But if you make a mistake and you over project what a home could be, I recommend, and I've been recommending this and doing this my whole career, and that is to send weekly email updates to your sellers. It's proactive, and it presents you, again, as creme de la creme as an agent with exceptional market knowledge. Okay, so there's three things. Number one, every week you're gonna tell them an overview of the number of inquiries you've gotten, because sometimes you get a phone call from an agent or a prospective buyer, but they never went and saw the home. Okay, so you want to tell them that. And then feedback from showings, just to reiterate it and demonstrate your professionalism, okay? And then secondly, you want to have, these are the new homes that came on the market, both within that price range that they're in and slightly lower. Why? Because you definitely want them to see, somebody can get a home with, an extra bedroom for the same price I have mine listed. These are subliminal ways to let them know that your house is a little overpriced, right? And then likewise, you want to share with them homes that have gone under contract and or closed within their price range and slightly under in the last week. And I'm telling you right now, every other email, if you're still not getting the number of showings you need, that's when you can say, hey, notice 525 Main Street has an extra bedroom and a renovated kitchen, and it's sold for $5,000 less than we're listed and the same square footage. That's a problem. And so you want to speak to that within the email. All right, so that weekly update is strong. And you can do it via email and then follow it up with a phone call. I always like doing it and sending it out in an email first so that I could, allow them to kind of look at it, review it, and then I would speak to it, okay? But you have to ask for it. And you have to ask for it unapologetically. Ask for the price reduction. And ladies, please don't do a price reduction less than $10,000. A price reduction less than $10,000 is a waste of everyone's time. It's not even worth the paper it's written on. Unless the house is under $100,000, you really need to have at least a $10,000 price reduction, sometimes more. All right. Next one is, how do I tell my seller they need to declutter and clean without sounding judgmental? Okay. One of the things I highly recommend is that you partner with an awesome cleaner, an amazing cleaner, and that you include that. That's a cost of doing business. We know on so many fronts the benefits of a clean house. We know, if you're following me, the National Association of Realtors has said, documented, that those buyers who perceive the house as clean would ask for a certain percentage, and I can't remember what the percentage is, in less items on a home inspection addendum, okay? And so that contingency was easier to release on a home that is perceived to be clean. Why? Well, because if it's clean on the outside, then the buyer's perception is, I bet they had excellent maintenance on the what I can't see, right? And okay, and what was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so you don't have to say you need to clean, because you're telling them that cleaning, deep cleaning, right before pictures is something you include, because you know the value of a clean home. And now you've turned something that could be perceived as a negative as, wow, this chick's awesome, right? And then the other thing is that to declutter, these are some words that you could say, because a lot of older people have a lot of tchotchkes, like little things sitting around. I think the younger people, they don't like a lot of clutter. But I mean, some people do, whatever. When you have stuff sitting around, you want to share that, I know the profile of the buyer of this home. Okay. And so The buyer of this home likes clean, likes minimalistic. Because you know what? Someone like you're not the qualified buyer that's looking for this home right now. So as your realtor, my job is to present your home the way the qualified buyers in this price range want to see it. And so I love your stuff sitting around, but it's not about emotion. It's about me doing my job for you. And that is making sure that I share with you that your qualified buyers in your price range don't want to see these things. Now, I'm happy to, have someone come in and help you, but we really need to minimize what's sitting around by at least 20 to 30%. So that is, can you see how that is a softer way to do that? And ladies, whatever you need to do in terms of, telling a seller or prospective seller something they may or may not want to hear, is to come from a place of expertise and excellence and exceptionalism, because you, at the end of the day, have a job. And your job is to make sure that your seller's home sells for the most money in the smoothest of processes and that it gets to closing. And so that's what you want to do. So I hope that's helped you. I want to end with what is the average amount you spend on a listing? Cleaners, professional picks, home warranty, marketing. I mean, I would tell my sellers that I'm prepared to spend about $1,000. I usually didn't spend $1,000, but it depends what the price of the home is. If I was going to list a home at $650,000, I'm going to spend more than if I'm going to, list a $150,000 home. Okay. But that is where you ladies have to, thanks for the question, Tina. That's where you ladies have to decide what your standards are. I know that when I was an active agent, people would say, oh my gosh, you get the most beautiful listings. And I'm like, you don't understand. I create that because I'm proactive in making sure that I don't list it. If my seller used to say, I need it listed ASAP, I'd say, you know what? I totally get where you are. Feel, felt, found. I totally hear you. I understand how you feel. What we found is that the first few days of a listing are so important that what's more important is presenting it well, actually exceptionally, right from the get-go. So trust me, let's get these few things done and then we'll hit the market. Okay, so you always have to come from a place of experience and expertise. So, my thing is unstoppable, right? The She's Unstoppable Live conference, which go to she'sunstoppablelive.com, check it out, get your ticket. Hundreds of people are coming from all over the country and actually a few from Canada as well. And then I have a group called She's an Unstoppable Agent. And so unstoppable is a pretty powerful word for me. And I had lunch last week with Amina Basic. And this is a woman who was a refugee from Bosnia. And in the 80s, there was a war, and she lost everything. She was 20 years old. Her family lost everything. They had no food, no water, no shelter, no home. Okay, it was bombed, gone. Okay, she's unstoppable, and she is one of the keynote speakers at the She's Unstoppable Live National Conference. It's unbelievable what she's come through, and so I just wanted to encourage you with. You want to have unstoppable courage and confidence. And that comes from what you're telling yourself and the work that you're doing to make yourself better, right? You want to have unstoppable clarity. And so you know definitively what your listing presentation looks like. You're not recreating it. You know what your process is. You know how you're going to make it a wow experience for every time you walk in a home of a homeowner, a prospective seller, right? You have boundaries. You're very clear on who you are and how you're presenting yourself. You are unstoppable in your commitment to consistency in connecting both online and in your local market, right? When you are committed to being unstoppable, then you get into a momentum of action. And what comes out of action? Results. Okay? And so I wanted to leave you with that. And, if you're looking for the secret, there is not a one secret other than to make sure you're connecting consistently and you're trying to be you. not trying to be anyone else. And if you want to hear from top agents and industry experts and actually subject matter experts on, we have a lead generation panel, we have a social media panel, we have an investors panel, we have a coaching panel, in addition to amazing speakers and top agents, you definitely need to go to she'sunstoppable.live.com and get your ticket while they're still available. All right. So I thank you, ladies. Hi, Eileen. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much, ladies. If you have any questions, put them in the chat or friend me. Put them in a private message. And in fact, before you leave, whether you're watching this on the replay or you are live with me now, if you could just share with me one thing that you are excited about in the spring, because spring is 23 days away. 23 days away is spring. And today's kind of chilly here in Virginia. But yesterday was super nice, and Sunday was freaking absolutely beautiful. And I just suddenly get happier in the spring. And even though I'm not this cleanest, I'm not Miss Domestic, I do love organizing and spring cleaning. So tell me what you like and what you're looking forward to in the spring before you go. All right. Thanks, ladies. I'll talk to you later. And don't forget, on Fridays, jump over to She's an Unstoppable Agent. Join that group, because I go live in there for Friday Feels at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. All right, thanks. Put this stuff into action, ladies. This is gold nuggets. All right, make it happen. Bye.